Edgar Snowden. We're going through the back door today toward nonviolent communication. And we have here the foremost Cambridge expert on nonviolent communication. He will introduce us to the ISIS version of nonviolent communication, where this is a worldwide first. So, give us the Quranic interpretation of nonviolent communication. This will go on the National Surveillance Teaching Program.
Well, thank you for such a unique introduction.
Unique, yes.
Something we can count on.
Count, if we can still count.
So the heart of nonviolent communication, according to Marshall Rosenberg, is to create a compassionate or loving flow between us.
Is that what he suggests?
That would be very good to be centered first.
Okay.
Yes, that's very good. And next is, so that's the aim.
Aims are important.
And Marshall suggests that
Marshall
Rosenberg.
You're on a first name basis with him.
I would like to.
I see. See, I told you, we only get the foremost experts here on the Edgar Snowden show. So, what did Marshall tell you?
He said that when there's tension in the situation.
Oh, is there now?
No.
Oh, good.
Not for me.
Oh, good. Not for me either.
Oh, good. He said if there was, we would back off and just focus on.
Back off. I've heard people say that.
Yes.
Pistol Pete used to say that. Back off. But it didn't seem to create any less tension.
Oh.
Especially when he pointed his 6-shooter at you.
Yes. So the first step in nonviolent communication is perhaps we could discover, if you could pick, either of us, pick a challenging interaction.
Challenging interaction.
Yes.
Whoa. Challenging interaction. Let's see.
Or if you want to, I can tell you. Tell you one about myself.
Yes, tell me one
for
about
that.
yourself. Yes.
So I went to this dance.
Dance, yes.
And I saw a friend of mine there, and she started dancing, and it was too much for me.
I've had that experience.
And so I am embarrassed when this is happening, because I'd like to be a good dancer. And she's having a great time. And I feel intimidated, because when I dance, I often, because I get scared, I go into some kind of altered state. Ooh! And I'm trying not to do that.
Sounds like she was non-violently communicating with you.
She was doing well.
She was doing well. Is that the story?
So that's my challenging situation.
Oh, okay. So
step one.
Step one. Wow, you have to divide this into steps.
Yes.
Wow. This Marshall I can tell he's a communication Nazi.
No.
Okay.
To have steps
right.
is,
Steps.
All these, that's the 12-step program. I'm not going
12
to
step.
I'm not going there.
Oh, good. I'm glad we're not going to 12-step.
No.
Because there is no other higher power.
Okay, so the first step could be to just feel my judgments or think my judgments. All my, he calls it jackling.
Jackling.
You get your jackal out. If I had a puppet, a little jackal puppet. So I'm giving myself a hard time.
Oh, a hard time. Giving yourself a hard
Yes, I
time. I'd
wasn't
be giving
giving-
her a hard time.
No, she was doing fine.
She was doing fine. Oh, good. Okay.
She's a lovely person
Oh, good.
and very alive, and that was a little
Oh,
hard.
yes.
No, I could get my judgment out like, oh, Michael, you're too much in your head. You've got to just be, and don't hide out in your head, and don't hide out in ecstatic bypass.
Ecstatic bypass. Wow, that sounds good. What do you mean? If nonviolent communication teaches me nothing else, I want to learn ecstatic bypass.
You're pretty good at it.
Oh,
Actually.
good.
Very good.
Ecstatic bypass.
That means you
Wow.
can get into bliss or ecstasy or something, and not be in touch with
Oh,
things.
that's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
You don't need it. You do it naturally. So
Okay.
after I get these
So,
judgments out,
Jackling and then ecstatic bypass.
no, I'm jackling
Those are the
about
first.
that. No,
Oh.
I'm jackling about it. That was just an
Okay.
example.
Okay.
And so after I get these judgments about myself out,
Ooh,
I
okay.
just let them.
Well, but that
I feel them. I can enjoy them as you did.
enjoy them.
And
Yes.
if I'm really good, I enjoy them as much as you did.
Oh, good.
I really, it just
Yes.
the judgments can teach us all kinds of things.
Oh, they can make ecstatic bypass.
Yes, that's what.
Yes.
So after I get after I can feel the energy of these judgments
Mhm.
and the wisdom of them,
The wisdom.
because there's
of
something
them.
good about getting into ecstasy.
Oh, yeah.
But to
Definitely.
do it without hiding would be very nice if I could ever do that.
Without hiding.
Yeah.
Oh, hiding seems to be not the preferred state.
It is my own actually. It's my default.
Default.
My default state is to hide in my mind.
Oh,
I think that's why as you said before the show, before I was born, maybe before I was conceived even, I was hiding out.
Yes.
I was hiding out in my mind.
Yes.
And I chose these parents.
When your father first punished you while you were still a bump on your mommy's tummy.
Yes, that too, yes. That was... So it wasn't a bad move.
Good.
I was actually pretty good at this.
Yes.
So after I can enjoy even, get the energy from these judgments, stop hiding and get that energy.
Stop hiding.
Then
Then?
the next step is to observe without evaluating what's going on.
Yikes. Yikes. That sounds like one whole lifetime's work.
Yes.
Observe without evaluating what's going on. How do you know if you're right?
Well, you can know if you can. There's long lists of what evaluating can involve.
Lists.
For example,
Lists and steps.
for example, if I say you're, if I say
A jerk.
anything, or even you're abandoning me.
You're abandoning me. Oh, okay.
Now that's not an observation without evaluation. I could observe that you have left the neighborhood and have not written me for 8 years. That's an observation.
Oh, that is an observation.
Your abandoning me has a certainly sense of judgment.
It's an interpretation.
Yes, but so I want to get the facts.
The
You just-
facts.
you
the
left-
facts, ma'am. Thank you, wham.
You left town and you haven't
Left-
written me for
Oh,
years.
that's sad.
Yes.
It's a sad
It could be
story.
said- It's sad. Well, maybe.
It's a sad story.
So that's the next step.
Okay.
Observe without evaluation.
Observe without evaluation.
Then the next step is
This is the part I hate, I think.
no, I don't think so.
The needs part.
No, we're not there yet.
We're not the needs part yet.
We have to find out how we're feeling.
How we're feeling. How we're feeling. How do we know how we're feeling?
Well, that's a hard. So let's say if I'm dancing.
Yeah, I bet there's a list.
Yeah, there is a list of feelings.
See, I knew there was going to be a
Huge
list. Marshall's a listy sort of person.
Oh, there is
with
so many.
steps.
There's so many feelings you can have.
Oh, good. Good.
So let's say, so if I'm dancing, let's say with you or someone we know, who's a very good dancer, and I'm feeling, so my feelings are, among other things, and I need to get feelings without thoughts too. That's the hard part.
This is getting more and more complicated. I don't know if I'm going to be able to ever non-violently communicate.
You can, I'm sure you're very
Okay.
smart. You're a Harvard person.
I'm going to take a deep breath because I'm beginning to ecstatically bypass.
So feelings, let's see, what am I feeling in this situation? It's not so easy. I have to, let's see, I'm dancing with you and sad.
Sad.
Disappointed.
Disappointed. Wow.
I think those are the two that come up at the moment.
Okay.
And in focusing, I could just find out where in my body I feel sadness. Maybe my heart and disappointment in my head. Now these feelings, and here's the part you might have, that might be challenging for you. These feelings, according to Marshall Rosenberg, point to needs, human needs.
Sad, so you need to be happy.
Yes, my need that I would need or like or desire to be happy. You're very good at this.
And disappointed, you could be reappointed.
I would.
Overpointed.
What would my need be that disappointed points to? Let's see, if I'm disappointed, what is my need? The needs are beautiful. It's a beautiful human need.
Needs are beautiful?
Needs are beautiful. They're what every person has. I mean,
What if you're constipated and you need to, like...
Yes?
You know what I mean?
You need to flow.
Oh,
That's a good
flow. That was good.
That's a good need.
Flow zone.
That's a good need.
Have a little flow zone.
So if I'm disappointed, I need to be, I guess, satisfied would be.
Satisfied.
The need for
satisfied. Whoa, now we're getting to it. Satisfied. I'd like to be satisfied.
Yes, okay, so now we're, I'm glad.
Now we're good. Now we're good. Satisfied is
So if I have these beautiful, and I've switched, so instead of being disappointed, I'm now.
Have you baited?
No.
Good.
You are baiting.
Oh, but you're switching. So it's all your fault, baiting and switching.
So if I have switched from being sad and disappointed to now focusing on how delicious or juicy it is to have these very beautiful needs. The need to be satisfied, which all people have. And what was the second?
Happy.
I need to be happy. Wow. I like that already.
Good.
Now I can mourn.
Mourn? Wow. This is heavy. This is getting heavy. This Marshall guy
What are you worrying
is
about?
a heavy duty guy.
And it's getting dark. This is mourning.
It's true.
Yes,
It's all true.
And so I can mourn. Yes, mourn that when I was dancing with this lovely dancer, that I was not, that I had a need to be satisfied and happy, and I wasn't successful, and I can just feel sad for that. That feels very freeing to me, letting the tears out. And the next step, we've done it all, really. It's really simple.
Wow.
The last step, and we have 15 minutes to go
The
through,
last step.
is
You can do ohms the whole time.
is to,
My listeners will be ecstatically bypassing.
the last step is to make doable requests without demands.
Doable request, according to who?
This is Marshall Rosenberg again.
No, but doable according to who? What if I think you could do it, but you don't think you could do it?
Well, if this is, you see, we did this with between me and me.
Mm-hmm.
If we could do another one, since we'll have time.
Well, maybe not.
Oh, okay. We
Okay.
could.
We could.
And maybe yes.
Maybe yes.
I could make a doable request for you.
Maybe.
Would you be willing to do? Well, let me first finish
Well,
this.
yes, first finish
So
this.
what are the doable requests without demands that I could make of myself? And I would love to do this. Not to expect to be able to dance with such a good dancer. That would be one, so I wouldn't be disappointed, because I would say, well, let me do the best I can.
Mm-hmm.
And can I feel okay when she's dancing so beautifully? I think I might be, if I focus on how happy I am to be able to move.
Oh,
Period.
moving's important.
Even a little bit, instead
Yes.
of expecting so much of myself.
Oh, that's good.
And so that's my doable request. And
Mm-hmm.
and to know when I start feeling disappointed, oh my, it's a possibility that I might be expecting more of myself than I can do, and to just say, oh really, and just rest more easily in who I am at the moment. But it feels so good. Thank you.
Well, good.
So it sounds like you might not want to, but you or I could pick a challenging situation between you and someone.
Let's see. Hmm.
Have you ever had a challenging situation between you and someone?
Yes.
No. Well, that's good. You can pick from.
But I didn't have any nonviolent communications with them.
No, that you don't need to.
Oh,
We
good.
go over them now. So pick one. You don't have to mention names.
Well, okay. I had a situation yesterday. And I got invited somewhere, but then it got canceled. So I came, but nobody called me to tell me it wasn't happening.
Wow.
So that wasn't good.
No.
But I sort of, I didn't say anything. But that was okay, I think, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to say. Because I don't think I could have said anything that was the right level for all the things I had to say. Because that was another thing in the last few times, well, 2 out of the last 3 times before that, I'd seen these same people. I come away not satisfied.
So, one thing I didn't mention in the first run through is empathy.
Empathy.
And if I'm listening to you well,
Mm-hmm.
I would first be like a golden retriever. And just with an empty mind, you would appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Just be with you as you're saying what you're saying. I hope I was doing that.
Mm. More or less.
Yeah. And then we can try the steps now, if you like. What are your judgments about them or you?
Mm.
You wouldn't share that with them, but you'd share it with me or other people.
Right. They weren't paying attention to me. They weren't welcoming me the way I want to be welcomed.
And these are, you're saying this kindly, you might have, and if you wanted to, you could enjoy, you don't need to now on television, all the judgments you have about them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they could, and you could jackal them out.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, just, and then eventually, and what you can, what do you think you could learn from these judgments? Do they have energy? Can you feel their energy?
I can feel the energy.
And is there anything that these judgments have to teach you about yourself by any chance?
Not at the moment.
Okay. So, next step is to just observe without evaluating what was going on. I think you said that pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can give me the exact situation when you discover they're not home.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just say what the absolute, just observe what happens.
Well, they were home, but it wasn't happening.
Oh, there was an event.
Yes.
Oh, so well then, just tell me when you discover it's not happening. What's going on?
At first, it was pretty clear that it wasn't happening.
But I mean, can you really observe, like a television camera,
Mm-hmm.
what the event is? Like you walk into the
Mm-hmm.
home and somebody says to you,
Mm-hmm.
"You want to tell us," or just
So it's basically that it's not happening.
they say that to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the observation,
Mm-hmm.
and you're and what do you do or say when this happens?
Well, I just sat down for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Chatted for a minute or two.
Yeah.
And well, I was a little tired, so I decided to go home. Just not stay very long and go home. And then there was something else that was going to happen, is going to happen.
You will leave that later. I mean, it's another.
No, but that's the point. That you asked me what I decided,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I decided not to go to that something.
Oh, the other something.
Yes, that would be a stretch for me, and at other times I would make that stretch because I think that would be appreciated. But now I won't make that stretch.
For the same people or other?
Yes.
Oh, for the same people?
Yes.
Oh. So now your feelings about this, either then or now, about this encounter?
My feelings are increasingly, and this has changed over time, is that let it simmer. That instead of necessarily...
Yeah, that's more of a strategy, and maybe a good one. But we would step back a bit and see if you could, before you get to this probably maybe very helpful strategy, just to identify your feelings about it. I think you did give me...
feeling feeling engaged with myself as much as anything. That this is a situation where I would be angry, and that I am
Now we're good. Good.
a little bit angry,
Good.
but where the anger probably wouldn't be that helpful, and it probably
Yeah, we don't need to evaluate it yet. Just get the feeling. Do you know where in your body you feel the anger?
I don't feel it in my body. I mean,
No.
just can take a deep breath.
We unfortunately only have a minute to go.
Yes.
So could you, this I think is important, could you just guess or imagine or sense where in your body you feel the anger?
In my chest.
Oh, good. And the last thing we'll have time for probably is, now Marshall Rosenberg says that all anger is a tragic expression of our needs, of what we need. In other words, anger is about someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And it really means, according to him, that there's something that we need that we're not getting at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so the anger takes us away from ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It in some ways alienates us from ourselves. I mean, it's a healthy emotion. But we can get more back to ourselves when we discover what we need in the situation, which are